Well, happy Friday, guys. All right, so I wanted to jump on here. I've been actually wanting to do this video for a while now. I just, for some reason, just forgot about it and haven't gotten around to it. But I've been getting a lot of questions about pressure canning in a pressure cooker, much like the pressure cooker XL that I bought not too long ago, and which I love, by the way, for pressure cooking foods. But they advertise that it is safe to pressure can in these pressure cookers. And I actually have a list here of pressure cookers. I'm going to leave you guys the links down below to where I found all of this information. Excuse me, my eyes have been tearing all day because of my sinuses. But to cut to the chase here, these pressure cookers that they are claiming are safe to pressure can in are not safe to do so. They have not been tested. Now, when I got my pressure cooker XL, and I have the 8-quart, I got it from QVC. It was on a Today's Special Value. When I got it, my first question was, how do I know it's at the proper pressure, and how do I know what temperature it's at? And so, of course, I turned to my canning queens, Noreen and Linda from Linda's Pantry, Noreen from Noreen's Kitchen. And I asked them, I'm like, you know what, guys, I just got this pressure cooker and it claims that it can pressure can, but how do I know what the temperature is? And how do I know and for anyone who knows, I use an All-American canner. It's up on my shelf, but on it, it has gauges. It has a temperature gauge, and then of course it has a weighted gauge. So I know exactly what temperature my pressure canner is, and when it's reached that exact pressure. And the combination of the temperature and the weighted gauge allows me to know safely that my canner is at not only a proper pressure, but at a proper temperature. And I can watch that gauge. And as long as my gauge isn't malfunctioning and isn't broken, it is precise. So with these pressure cookers that they claim can pressure can foods, you don't have that. You have no idea what temperature it's at, and you have no idea what pressure it's at. You also don't have control over the heating process, the heating element. When I pressure can on a gas stove. I am able to, keep that stove going, keep that heat going. And this, these spores can be tasteless, they can be odorless, and you can't see them. That's what makes it so dangerous. You know, botulism, you can't smell, you can't taste, you can't see. So you have to make sure that your jars are absolutely 100% processed properly. So here are the multi-cookers that claim to be pressure canners that the National Canning for Home Food Preservation and the USDA do not recommend. Pressure Cooker XL 8 and 10 quart by TriStar. That's what I have, the 8 quart. Harvest Cookware Pressure Pro. Elite 6, 8, and 10 quart digital pressure cookers by Maximatic USA. Cook's Essential PC028, 6, 8, and 10 quart by QVC. Instant Pot. I guess Instant Pot used to advertise that you could pressure can in it, and they took it off. And any electric pressure cooker that either has a canning or preserving setting or claims to be able to pressure can meat and vegetables, except for the Ball Automatic Home Canner, and reasons are explained by the National Center for Home Food Preservation. So I'm going to leave you the article. I'm also going to leave you a link regarding canning in these multi-cookers or pressure cookers, and why you can't. There has been no thermal process testing by the USDA to make sure that these are safe. So it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like taking medicine that's never been tested. You know, you just don't want to mess with it. And of course they go into why temperature is the issue, not just the pressure, and all the reasons to back it. So for those of you asking me about pressure canning in the pressure cooker XL, I do not, because I've been asked several times now by multiple different people if I could do canning videos in my pressure cooker XL. I cannot. Pressure canning in a pressure cooker, in my pressure cooker XL, to me is irresponsible and dangerous, possibly dangerous and life-threatening to you, and I won't do that, and I won't do it for my family. So you guys will not see me pressure can in my pressure cooker XL. And that's why. It's just, there's no testing, there's no proof that it's safe. For me, even if they told me and they came out and said, oh yeah, it's safe, we tested it, I personally would not do it, because I'm a very visual person and I want to know, I want to be able to see my temperature and I want to be able to see that weighted gauge jiggle. That's what reassures me that everything is working properly, everything is consistent. I have control over that. I can keep an eye on it. I can adjust my burner if and when it's needed, and that's how I feel safe. That is why I was going to, when I purchased a pressure canner, I went for the All-American. I knew it was a big investment, and in the back of my mind I was like, what if I really can't do it? What if I really can't do it? And then I thought, by spending the money, there would be no option for me to say, oh, I can't do it. I had to do it. I invested, and I invested in the best of the best, the Cadillac of all pressure canners, because of the gauges and the safety features of the All-American. As a newbie, should I have jumped to the best? I don't know. I guess you could debate that, but to me, as a newbie, I wanted the best of the best, the safest that I could get. And I wanted those gauges. I wanted to be able to see the temperature and see the pressure on my jiggler. So I would recommend, if you're new to pressure canning or if you want to pressure can, make sure that the pressure canner that you choose has the weighted gauge as well as the temperature gauge. I think Presto makes them now too with the temperature gauge, if I'm not mistaken. But get a canner that has both of those, because as somebody who was new, those two things meant a lot to me, to feel safe, to know that I was doing it right, I was doing it properly and correctly and safely. It just brings a huge peace of mind. And then when you look at your jars on your shelf, you're not questioning, gosh, I hope I canned that right. You don't want any question or any doubt. You want to be able to know that you followed procedure. Canning, you guys, especially pressure canning, I love pressure canning more than water bath canning. Canning is so much fun. For me, it is a stress reliever. Like if I'm really stressed out or if I got a lot on my mind, I go and do a canning session and I just lose myself in it, and I'm doing something positive for my family, something that I have control over, something that is productive, and it's easy if you follow the procedures. There are certain rules and guidelines you have to follow, and as long as you follow those, and the more that you can, the easier it becomes to follow those, because it's just in the back of your mind, you know the steps. In the beginning, it's a bit harder because, you know, when I was new, I wrote down the steps, and I had like my phone and my laptop open so that I could, you know, reference to make sure that I wasn't forgetting anything. But the more that you can, the more those steps just become second nature to you. And you don't have to, you know, you don't have to stress so much about it. But you want to make sure you do it safely. So you have to, you know, it's a science. It's a science. At the end of it all, there's a science to it. You can't just do things willy-nilly or throw things in jars because, hey, it sounds good. You have to do it properly. You have to do it safely. And don't ever, ever, ever rely on a YouTube video from any of us to properly can something. If you see, even me, if you see me do a recipe and you're like, you know what, I really want to do that, that sounds good, go to a reference book. Seek out a reference book, a ball canning blue book, the Amish cookbook, which I absolutely love. But go and research it. Go to the library. That's where I started, because I couldn't afford to buy a ton of canning books when I started. I had so much invested in jars and canners and tools. You know, buying a $25 book and buying 4 of them just wasn't an option for me. And I didn't know what I'd like. So I went to the library. And if there's a certain book that you want to see and your library doesn't have it, you can go up to the desk and request it. And if they have it at another branch, they will bring it to you. And if not, many times they will go and buy the book. So that way you can test books out and recipes out. And if you like them, you can then maybe go and buy the book yourself. Or if there's only, you know, there's been times that I've loaned out books and it only has a couple recipes in it that I like. I write them down, or I copy them and add them to my binder. So there's lots of ways to resource, but always, always, always double check. Always check the National Canning for Home Food Preservation site. Of course, that's a great source. There's lots of great sources, but always do your homework. Always do your own research. And don't ever, ever, ever trust a YouTube video, guys, because I just last week saw a really, really, really bad, dangerous video on YouTube on canning cheese, which is not recommended. So, you know, it's just, there's a lot of bad information out here in YouTube land. There's a lot of good information. And when you double check your resources and you can go back to a video and say, yes, she canned that properly. Yes, she followed the guidelines. Then you can follow the video and you can feel good about it and you can feel safe about it. Because in the end, this is all about you and it's about your family, your safety, your protection. So don't ever just blindly follow anyone, not even me. And all of the great canners here in YouTube land, many of whom I am friends with, all agree. They would all say the same things to you. So with that, don't pressure can in your pressure cookers. Save it for pressure cooking food, because really that's what they're great for. And if you are interested in pressure canning, get yourself a really good pressure canner with a weighted gauge and a temperature gauge so that you can really visually see that your canner is at the right temperature and at the right pressure. So that is my advice. That is my 2 cents. I wanted to talk about this. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while because a lot of you are interested in, you know, pressure cookers are expensive. I spent $100 on mine and that was on QVC for today's special value. My pressure canner, my All-American pressure canner, was a little over $200 by the time I paid for shipping. So these you know, tools are expensive, and I get it. I get, you know, hey, if I could just buy a pressure cooker and I can use it for cooking and I can use it for canning, that'd be great. And you save extra money, but it's not safe. It hasn't been tested. So until they do proper testing, and for me, until they put proper gauges on it, because I don't feel comfortable just pushing a button and letting the machine do it, because I can't tell if the machine is doing it properly. I have no idea what temperature it's at. I have no idea what pressure it's at. And of course my camera shuts off. Anyway, I have no idea what pressure it's at, what temperature it's at, and if it is consistent. And until a pressure cooker can put proper gauges on it to allow me to be able to see that, personally, I just would not feel safe in canning in one. So that's my 2 cents. Today is Friday. It's a bit warm. I do have my air fixed, you guys. I'm so happy about that, and I'm able to get back into this office. I want to do some canning. My next video, really, I want to make some lavender jelly. I have some lavender and I want to make lavender jelly. It's only going to be 5 half pints, not going to be very much. I still want to can beans. I've been asked to can black-eyed peas, so I'm going to can those as well. Tomorrow it's supposed to be in the 90s, so I don't know if I'll get any pressure canning done tomorrow because it really heats up your kitchen. But there are canning videos coming out. I've got to make some bread today, and hopefully me and Noreen will be able to meet up tonight for Mom's Talk TV over on her channel. I'll leave a link down below to Noreen's channel so you guys can come hang out with us. We talk about our favorite shows like Game of Thrones and Preacher, which has been really good. So anyway, got a lot going on, a lot that I want to do, but I wanted to get up early this morning before the kids wake up and make this video for you guys because I keep getting questions about the pressure cookers being used as pressure canners. And I just wanted to go out there and let you guys know, if you're interested in that combination, don't do it. It's just, it hasn't been tested, and for me, it's not safe. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna let you go and maybe set up my kitchen and hopefully get to making some lavender jelly today. Wish me luck. I hope I get to it. All right, guys, I will talk to you soon, and have a great weekend. Bye, guys.